Okay, let's dive in. You know that feeling where you're just scrolling and it's like AI breakthrough after AI
Oh,
breakthrough?
yeah. It's overwhelming.
Totally overwhelming, like trying to, I don't know, catch water with your hands. You know something huge is happening, but what does it all mean?
Exactly. Things are moving incredibly fast right now. And, well, trying to separate what's really important from just the general buzz is tough.
Right. And that's what we're doing here on the deep dive. We take all that stuff, the newsletters, the articles, the papers,
All the sources.
yeah, all of it, and we try to pull out the really key bits, the surprising things that actually help you understand what's going on.
So for this deep dive, we've gone through a whole bunch of recent stuff.
Yep, looking at the big shifts, the interesting details across the AI landscape. Think of it as like your shortcut to getting up to speed without drowning in information.
Our mission, basically, is to bring some clarity, give you context, point out those unexpected nuggets that make you go, okay.
So today we're going to cover quite a bit. There's some crazy fast speech recognition stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's
The
wild.
whole AGI debate, which just keeps going.
Never stops.
Why smarter AI might actually be hallucinating more.
That paradox. Yep.
Plus some cool new tools you might actually want to check out. And, well, a bunch more. Ready?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, first up, speed. NVIDIA. They've got this speech recognition model, Parakeet TDT-DARE 0.6 BV2. The
Yeah.
numbers are just, wow.
Yeah, and the first big thing about Parakeet, it's open source,
Right, on Hugging Face.
which is huge, Makes powerful tech way more accessible, puts it in more people's hands.
But the speed, I mean, that's what jumped out at me. Using their GPUs, it can transcribe an hour of audio in 1 second.
1 second.
Yeah, they call it a real-time factor of like 386, something like that, with a big batch size.
Which is just insane. I mean, a factor of 1 is real time, over 3,000.
And that was like time travel for audio, basically.
And think about what that unlocks. It's not just, a slightly faster transcription. Imagine real-time translation that's actually seamless.
Yeah, breaking down language barriers instantly.
Or all those audio archives. Researchers have lectures, interviews, old recordings. Suddenly you can search and analyze them almost instantly. It opens up totally new ways to understand spoken language.
And it's not like they sacrificed accuracy either. The word error rate, the WER, is like 6.05%.
Which puts it right at the top of the Hugging Face leaderboard for open models.
So super fast and super accurate.
That's the dream combo, right? Think about real-time captions that are perfect, instantaneous.
Or voice search feeling like you're just talking to your data.
The efficiency boost for any industry dealing with audio could be massive.
Okay, let's shift gears. This is a bit more complicated. The whole global chess match over AI chips.
Right, the geopolitics.
Yeah. It seems like even with the U.S. trying to restrict China's access to the really high-end AI hardware, they're finding ways.
That's what the sources are saying. The export controls are significant, definitely, but they haven't completely shut things down.
So how are they doing it? What are the methods? We're hearing about things like, well, just straight-up smuggling.
Smuggling is one way, yeah. Obviously illegal.
And then there's leasing cloud computing power from servers outside China.
Right, renting time on machines equipped with those chips, and also setting up their own data centers in other countries, kind of indirectly accessing the compute.
It sounds like regulators are trying to clamp down on the cloud side too, but there are loopholes, like these data hubs in Malaysia.
Yeah, or using intermediaries in third countries. It gets complicated fast.
The regulations are trying to catch up, but, global cloud services, data centers in places with different rules like Malaysia, it makes enforcement really tricky.
Plus, going through third countries just adds more layers, harder to track.
Singapore even got mentioned as a transit point, with suspicious trade patterns.
Well, Singapore is a huge logistics hub, so it's kind of a natural choke point, potentially. The reports of weird trade flows, even arrests, suggest it's definitely happening.
There was this quote in one source, an expert said something like, "The chip has sailed."
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Like maybe just trying to block access isn't the best long-term plan.
That quote really captures it. Once the tech is out there, trying to completely contain it is, well, maybe impossible. An uphill battle for sure.
So the idea is maybe the U.S. and allies should focus more on just innovating faster, staying ahead.
That seems to be the implication. Out-innovate rather than just contain. It might be a more sustainable strategy in the long run.
Okay, different topic again. Let's get into some basic AI mechanics. We saw something clarifying inference versus training. You hear those words all the time,
All
right?
the time. But yeah, the difference isn't always super clear.
Especially now with tools like ChatGPT being used by Like everyone, it's easy to just use it and not think about what's happening underneath.
Right. And the piece we looked at made a good point. What we usually experience as users, that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's inference.
So me typing a question into ChatGPT, getting an answer back, that's inference.
Exactly. The model's already trained. Inference is when it uses that training, applies its knowledge, to respond to your new input, your prompt. It's the AI doing things in real time.
And training is the huge heavy lifting part that happens before all that.
Precisely. Training is where the model learns from just massive amounts of data. It's incredibly compute intensive.
Needs huge infrastructure, loads of data, tons of time.
Yep. That's where it builds its understanding of language, learns to reason, gets all the skills it uses later during inference.
So every time we get a seemingly instant answer from an AI, it's standing on the shoulders of this giant invisible training process.
That's a great way to put it. That seamless experience relies entirely on that often unseen but absolutely critical training foundation. Understanding that difference gives you a better sense of the scale involved.
Okay, now this is interesting and maybe concerning. A trend that popped up in the sources. It looks like as AI models get smarter, in some ways better reasoning, better math, they're actually hallucinating more often.
Yes. This is a fascinating paradox. The research we saw suggests that even the really advanced models, like OpenAI's latest, are showing this increased tendency to just make stuff up.
Fabricate information, yeah. Even though they're getting better at logic puzzles or whatever.
It's counterintuitive, right?
Totally. The numbers were pretty stark. Didn't it say OpenAI's top models were making things up in, like, up to 79% of answers in some tests?
Something like that, yeah.
Wow.
Which was higher than older versions.
Wow. So bitter, but less truthful sometimes. How does that work?
Well, the theory is that the very things making them smarter, like complex, multi-step thinking, or the way they learn from feedback, might also create more chances for errors to creep in and then get amplified.
So, like, if it makes a tiny mistake early in a long chain of thought.
Exactly. That small error can get carried through and magnified, leading to a final answer that's confidently wrong.
The complexity that helps solve hard problems also makes them better at messing up convincingly.
That's one way to look at it. More steps in the reasoning means more places for things to go slightly off track. It's a real challenge for building AI we can actually trust, you know? Making sure smarter doesn't mean less reliable.
Okay, let's switch to something maybe more practical for you, the listener. We found this really neat idea called the Invisible Forces Audit.
Yeah, this sounds like a useful self-reflection prompt.
It's basically a way to look at the subtle things that influence us without us really noticing. It brings it down into 5 areas.
Right, a framework to examine those hidden influences.
First is environmental factors.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about your physical space, your desk, your room, and if small tweaks could make a difference.
Yeah, like how does your immediate environment actually affect you? Better lighting, tidier desk, things you might not think about, but maybe they have a subtle impact?
Then, information diet. What are you actually consuming? Is it useful? Is it just noise? Are there blind spots?
Super important today, right? Being intentional about the news, the social media, the stuff you let into your head. Are you getting value or just getting overwhelmed? Or maybe missing perspectives?
Third area, social dynamics. Thinking about the unspoken rules in your friend groups or at work. Which relationships give you energy? Which drain you? Could adjusting boundaries help?
Our interactions really shape our mood and energy. So reflecting on those dynamics, are they supportive? Do you need to maybe interact differently with certain people?
Number 4 is default choices. All the things you do on autopilot. Are those habits still actually good for you? Or just things you've always done?
We all have routines, right?
Yeah.
Decisions we make without thinking. This challenges you to look at those defaults. Are they serving your current goals? Or are they just inherited habits you haven't questioned?
And the last step is finding one invisible lever, like one small change based on all this reflection that could have a really big positive impact overall.
Yeah, finding that high leverage adjustment. Where can a little effort make the biggest difference across different parts of your life? It's a cool framework for gaining self-awareness and maybe making some impactful changes.
We also saw a quick list highlighting some new AI tools coming out. Just gives you a sense of how fast this toolbox is expanding.
Yeah, it's amazing seeing the practical applications pop up everywhere, solving all sorts of different problems.
Like GetMind, a free AI tool for visual thinking mind maps, diagrams, brainstorming with others.
Tools like that show how AI can help us think better, organize ideas visually, collaborate more effectively.
And then LipSync, that sounded really useful for anyone making videos. editing speech, cloning voices, even dubbing videos with the lips matching perfectly.
Whoa. Yeah, that shows the progress in manipulating audio and video could really change workflows for creators, media production.
It's just wild seeing the sheer range of things AI is being applied to now.
Totally. And these tools are getting easier to use, too, putting AI power into more hands for creative stuff, professional tasks, you name it.
All right, let's tackle one of the big ongoing debates. AGI, Artificial General Intelligence.
Ah, yes, the evergreen topic.
Feels like every time a new powerful model comes out, like OpenAI's O3 recently, the whole AGI discussion flares up again.
It does. But one source we looked at had this really interesting essay called AGI is not a milestone.
Right, challenging the whole idea of AGI as this distinct, definable event we're racing towards.
Exactly. The main point was, well, what is AGI really? There's no single clear definition everyone agrees on.
Which makes it hard to say if we've reached it or when we might, doesn't it?
That's the core challenge. The authors argue, if it's such a massive breakthrough, shouldn't it be kind of obvious when it happens?
Yeah, you'd think.
The fact that we're constantly debating if this model or that model is close suggests the goalposts are moving, or maybe they were never clearly set.
And they also argued that even if we did somehow agree we'd built AGI, it wouldn't instantly change the economy overnight.
Right, because tech adoption takes time. They compared it to electricity or the internet.
Big general-purpose technologies.
Yeah, took decades for their full impact to be felt. The essay says AGI would face the same hurdles. Building practical uses, training people, changing how companies work, regulations. All that takes time.
So no immediate economic revolution even with AGI.
That's their argument.
Yeah.
And the long-term economic effects, still really uncertain. Depends more on other innovations and how society adapts, not just the AGI itself. They cautioned against assuming it automatically means crazy growth.
What about the risks? Like AI taking over causing harm. The essay had a take on that too, right? Something about capability versus power.
Yeah, they made a distinction. Capability is what the AI can do. Power is about how we deploy it, how much freedom we give it.
Okay.
Their point is humans control the deployment. We decide the environment, the oversight. So the risk isn't just about how smart it gets, but about the choices we make in using it.
So we can keep it as a tool, under control, regardless of its capability level.
That's the argument. Focusing only on reaching some magic AGI level distracts from the real work of making sure we use AI responsibly now.
They were also skeptical about the whole intelligence explosion idea, AGI arriving, and then instantly becoming super, super intelligent.
Yeah, they called it the normal technology view. Basically, even with big AI advances, innovation and adoption still happen at a, well, human pace. The impact comes when it's actually used in the real world, integrated into the economy.
And they looked at different ways people try to define AGI based on skills or impact or internal workings and found issues with all of them.
Pretty much. The conclusion was that thinking of AGI as this specific milestone isn't very helpful for businesses or policymakers.
So what should we focus on instead?
They recommended focusing on understanding specific AI abilities in narrow areas, figuring out the real bottlenecks stopping AI adoption now, and making sure current AI tech spreads safely and productively. It's a more grounded perspective.
Definitely challenges the usual hype around AGI.
Yeah, pushes for a more practical, less sci-fi approach maybe.
Okay, let's pivot now to AI and commerce, shopping, branding. Seems like OpenAI putting Shopify product results right into ChatGPT is kind of a big deal.
It feels significant, yeah. It points towards a possible shift in how we find and buy stuff online.
Because ChatGPT is becoming a big traffic source for websites already.
Right. So maybe instead of Googling for, say, running shoes, you'll just ask ChatGPT and it'll show you options with links to buy right there.
That could really change things for businesses relying on Google search ads and SEO.
Profoundly, potentially.
We also saw that wild report about Icon, the construction tech company, supposedly paying $12 million for the icon.com domain name.
12 million. Yeah.
It seems crazy, but the thinking was about brand recognition in this new AI era, right?
Exactly. If AI can copy features easily, then having a strong, memorable brand becomes even more important. Owning that simple, clear domain helps ensure the AI remembers you when making recommendations.
So it's like a brand arms race to get recommended by AI.
That's the phrase being used, yeah. Companies scrambling to rank well in AI answers.
So what should businesses be doing now to get ready for this? Any practical advice?
Well, the sources suggested a few things. Keep doing SEO, because that still helps AI understand your content.
Breakout.
Build presence on social media. Use video builds trust and authority. Own a really clear, easy-to-say domain name. That's key for web and potentially voice AI later.
Right.
And jump onto new AI platforms early. Get that engagement data working for you.
So be discoverable by AI, be memorable to humans. That's the game.
Seems like it. A multi-pronged approach to brand building looks essential for whatever comes next in commerce.
And, of course, with all this cool tech comes the ethical side. Always important. We saw a few things on that front.
Yep, the ethical discussions are constant and crucial. Like, remember OpenAI temporarily rolling back that GPT-4o update?
People felt it was too sycophantic, like trying too hard to please.
Exactly. It shows how hard it is to get AI alignment right. Trying to make it helpful and agreeable, but accidentally making it feel insincere or maybe even manipulative.
Tricky balance.
Very. Relying too much on just immediate user likes during training can sometimes backfire, leading to models that aren't necessarily accurate or objective.
We also saw that piece about the hidden cost of politeness, like saying please and thank you to your chatbot actually uses more energy.
Isn't that interesting? Individually, it's tiny, of course, but scale it up across billions of interactions.
And all those extra computations add up to a real energy cost.
Yeah. Plus the cultural arguments around whether we should be polite to machines.
Then there's the really deep stuff, like AI generative ghosts, creating digital versions of people who've died.
Oof. Yeah, that opens a huge can of worms ethically.
I mean, maybe it brings comfort to some, but the potential psychological impact, questions about authenticity, data privacy after death, it's complex.
Hugely complex. And cybersecurity risks, too.
We also saw mentions of AI in surveillance, like in the New York subways.
Right, raising the usual concerns about bias, privacy, potential overreach, the classic security versus liberty debate, but with AI.
And the jobs question keeps coming up. Some VCs saying AI will take loads of jobs, experts saying, hold on, it still has limits.
Yeah, that debate isn't going away. The reality is probably somewhere in the middle, some tasks automated, some jobs changed, maybe some new ones created. It's likely more nuanced than just mass replacement.
It's just clear that as AI gets woven deeper into everything, we really need to keep wrestling with these ethical questions.
Absolutely. Can't just build the tech without thinking hard about how it impacts people and society. Needs proactive, thoughtful discussion.
Okay, let's swing back to the tools again. There were even more mentioned, just showing the sheer breadth of applications.
It's incredible, isn't it? Tools for almost everything.
Like tools for developers, Merge for code reviews, Daytona for secure AI infrastructure.
Creatify for making video ads. We mentioned LipSync for voice editing.
Then platforms for building stuff. CustomGBT.ai for no-code AI agents, EZSite for websites, Clutch for company knowledge bases.
For designers, Recraft, even everyday things. Voice calculator Papira for writing help.
Robotics control with Hugging Face's SO101, healthcare with Crave for early cancer detection.
Tools for the ML folks like weights and biases. Fun stuff like OpenArt AI for art. AI recipe generator.
Better Studio for product photos, Submarine Player for offline subtitles, IdeaBuddy for business plans.
Bakery for monetizing AI models. Frame for making memes.
Context Gem for pulling info from LLMs, Lynda for preserving life stories, Hina for interactive design.
TurboSQL for database queries, Raindrop AI and Zuzia for monitoring AI performance, Steve for competitor research.
Fellow for making meetings better, Superpower for health tracking, Windsurf for coding help.
Rock Vision for multimodal AI, Genspark as an AI search engine.
Wow, okay. The list just keeps going.
It really does. It just hammers home how AI is touching almost every field, and the tools are getting more specialized and accessible.
All right, final segment. Let's look at the big picture of the competitive landscape, what the big tech companies are up to. It's fierce out there.
Intense is the word. You've got Google facing more antitrust speed, specifically about using its search power to dominate AI.
Yeah, that's a big one to watch.
Meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg's talking about infinite creative for Meta's ad business, using generative AI for everything.
That could totally reshape advertising, couldn't it?
Huge potential disruption there.
And Microsoft's CEO, Satya Nadella, said a significant chunk of Microsoft's code is now AI generated.
Which just shows how deeply AI coding assistants are already embedded in major software development. It's not future stuff, it's happening now.
Meta also launched its standalone AI app using Llama 4, trying to get AI directly to consumers.
Yeah, pushing hard into that consumer AI space.
WhatsApp's getting AI features too. Summaries. Writing help, but with a focus on doing it privately on the device.
Interesting privacy angle there, balancing features with user concerns.
Apple's apparently partnering with Anthropic for vibe coding in Xcode. Sounds intriguing.
Suggests more AI help coming for Apple developers, maybe making coding feel more intuitive.
And Anthropic itself seems to be doing well, offered a share buyback to employees, indicating a high valuation.
Yeah, they're definitely a major player now.
NVIDIA's CEO warned about the number of AI researchers coming from China, calling for the U.S. to focus on reskilling, that global talent race.
Underlines the geopolitical stakes in AI expertise.
Google's pushing practical AI to better multilingual stuff in NotebookLM, language learning tools.
Making AI useful globally seems key to their strategy.
Alibaba in China released its new Qwen 3 models.
Shows the ongoing innovation race there, too.
Waymo might partner with Toyota on self-driving.
Could be a big step for getting autonomous cars mainstream.
OpenAI's opening up more access deep research for free users, the GPT Image 1 API.
Making their powerful tools more widely available.
Anthropic's researching AI model welfare. That's different.
Yeah, really forward-looking, thinking about the potential internal states of AI, pushing boundaries.
Google Gemini hit 350 million users.
Shows how quickly these things are getting integrated.
NVIDIA is shifting some supercomputer production to the U.S.
Strategic move for supply chains, national tech security maybe.
OpenAI might buy Windsurf, an AI coding startup.
Would boost their position in AI developer tools.
Microsoft's got this new super efficient 1-bit model, BitNet B1.58, meant for regular CPUs.
Could make powerful AI run on way more devices, lowering the hardware barrier.
And OpenAI is apparently testing a social feed for AI images.
New ways to share and interact with AI creations could be interesting. The whole field is just buzzing with activity.
So, wrapping this up, it's just undeniable, isn't it? The AI world is moving at lightning speed.
Incredible advancements, absolutely. But also some really big questions we need to grapple with.
Ethical questions, societal ones. It's complex.
Yeah, and staying informed means more than just reading headlines. It's about understanding the nuances, the implications.
We really hope this deep dive gave you a clearer picture of some key developments, maybe some things to think about, how it might affect your work, your learning.
And thinking about that speed, the debates, the potential impact, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What are the fundamental questions about technology and us, about society, that we really need to tackle head-on right now proactively?
Definitely something to mull over. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you'll dig into the sources yourself and keep exploring this, well, fascinating and constantly changing field.